Just kind of starting off, it feels great to be 4-0, off to a good start, and really proud of the way that our guys finished there in the fourth quarter with 4 straight touchdown drives. That's hard to do against anybody, and especially a good defense like we played there in Boston College. And also very pleased with how we ran the ball. I think Boston College kind of changed up their approach from what they've done this year defensively and what they've done against us in the past. And we're able to kind of find out there in the first half that they were going to really force us to run the football and to prove that we could win the game by running the ball. And I felt like the offensive line, going back watching the video, did an excellent job of really moving that defensive front, which is some big guys up there, difficult to move. 342 yards rushing was very impressive, and obviously we had several backs, did a really good job. Also pleased with our production in the red zone, 4 for 4 with 4 touchdowns, and that's something that we've really emphasized going into this season, is improving in the red zone. And obviously, like we talked about after the game, really pleased with the way that the guys responded to the adversity. What the first time, and it won't be the last. And it's something that we spend a lot of time talking about within our program and definitely within the offense. Is we've been known in the past to respond the right way through adversity, and games are not always going to go how you may have them planned, and it's how quickly you can get it corrected and improved during the game. And I felt like we did that. Obviously, it was disappointing with the slow start we got off offensively. We really talk about getting off to a fast start, and I think we've done a really good job of that in a few games this year and definitely in the past. But going back, looking at the video, is about what you thought. One guy here, one guy there, with either a missed assignment or not getting his job done. And then also part of it was Boston College. They did a really good job of mixing up their looks. It took us a little while to kind of figure out what their game plan was defensively, and we had to make some adjustments. And but I was pleased that the guys didn't panic, didn't get flustered and start pointing fingers or anything like that. But we definitely got to get some of those things cleaned up. And it's an early part of the season. We've only played 4 games, and we've got a lot of new guys on offense. And I think our message, even after the win at Louisville, is, hey, we haven't arrived. We still have a lot of work to do, a lot of improving to do. And definitely after the game Saturday, that'll be our focus as we come back today and watch the video, get some things corrected. And it's all about improving individually and then obviously as a group offensively. Got a big challenge this week with Virginia Tech. Obviously, we all know their defensive coordinator, Bud Foster, is one of the best defensive minds in college football. Been doing it a long time. And, the one thing you know about his defense is it doesn't matter year in and year out. When you play them, they'll have new names and new players in there. But his defense are always going to be physical. They're always going to be disciplined, very sound. They're not going to give up many big plays. They're going to make you earn everything that you get. And that's really the trademark of his defenses in the past. They have a lot of talent returning. Whenever I got the depth chart, saw they have 8 defensive players returning. I think they lost 2 guys up front, 1 safety. So not only do they have a lot of experience coming back, it's a very talented group, and we saw that last year when we played them there in the ACC championship game. So I think this will be one of the best defenses we play all year after watching them on video for 2 days. And for us, it's always about what's next. It's always about improving on ourselves, and then obviously getting a good plan down for big game Virginia Tech this week. So with that, I'll open up for questions. Yeah, I mean, Kelly's no different than any of our guys on our team. 4 games into the season, guys have had good moments, and then they've had some plays that they need to get corrected. And Kelly, obviously, I mean, overall through 4 games, very pleased with what he's done. I mean, he's playing with a lot of confidence and executing a lot of really good things. But as he comes back in today and watches the video with Coach Streeter, he's going to see some situations where he could have let the ball go and get the ball out of his hand and maybe made a better decision here and there. And that's what coaching's all about. That's what improving's all about. I think the exciting thing for us is to know that he's playing pretty well, but he's nowhere close to being his best yet. And so that's really exciting as a coach, knowing that he still has room for improvement. And whenever he gets there, he's going to be really, really special. And I think he's moving in that direction. But yeah, there's no doubt. He had some situations Saturday early on. I think part of it was, like we talked about earlier, some different looks than maybe he expected a little bit earlier on in the secondary, and he didn't want to force some things. But there's also some situations where he needs to trust it, let the ball go, and let the receivers go work for him. But he's going to only improve and get better each week. Yeah, I think we have confidence with our guys on the outside. I didn't feel like we had our best day, and obviously, what they were doing defensively, we only had so many opportunities, and I think with a few of the opportunities where the ball was thrown, we caught the ball and did well. But there was also some of those situations where Kelly didn't throw the ball because we didn't win our matchup with some of the man coverage, and there was a couple of those in there as well that kind of get hidden if you don't know exactly what you're looking for. So that'll be a good challenge for our wide receivers this week, because we're going to go against probably one of the best defensive secondaries in the country at VTech, and so that'll be important. But yeah, I mean, and Kelly knows. Kelly's got confidence in our guys. I think it's just being in that situation, and I think, like I said, there's more to it than just Kelly. My guys got to get open, and we got to do a good job giving him time in the pocket and all those type of things, and everything works together. And so long as everybody keeps working on it, it'll improve. Yeah, and I mean, I really don't think it's to the point where we look at Kelly as a guy. We've all seen those guys that they look to take off and run all the time. I really don't think it's that situation. I think there's just a couple. There was a couple moments where he could have let the ball go, and he just has to really trust it. I don't think it's a major issue or something like that. I mean, I think Kelly's feet have really come in very well. I mean, they have over 100 yards, I believe, rushing. So, but yes, we don't want him going back, taking off on every pass route. Finding the right times to do that, it's kind of part of it. But I would say there's just a couple plays where that was the case, where sometimes you have guys that it's a lot more than just 2 or 3 plays in the game. But there's no doubt, and he's done it before, and he'll definitely do it as we go forward. Yeah, I mean, number one, he's a physical guy. He's put together. He's got a good physical makeup to him. There are times where I think when he is running around, he gets a little high. We'd like him to get a little bit lower and not take some of those shots where he's got his full chest exposed. But I think for the most part, he does a pretty good job with that. And he's a weapon for us. Every year you look at your offense, and like we talked about at the beginning of the year, you don't really know what your strengths and weaknesses are until you get out there and start playing and find out who you are. And right now, Kelly's feet are definitely a part that's helped our offense, and so he's going to continue to run, but just being smart and not taking any unnecessary shots. Definitely smart. Yeah, I think was it 2011 that we had that 3 in a row, 3 ranking. I know it, right, and but it kind of has the feel, even though we didn't have 3 in a row. We've had maybe 3 in the first 5. We got 5 games in September and 3 games in October, and so we knew when the schedule came out that this was going to be a challenging start, and obviously with a lot of new guys on the offensive side of the ball, we knew it was going to be a good challenge. And I think we're in a good position right now going into this next week. But it just really, even going back to last year, just feels like the ACC has really had some good defenses over the last couple of years. I mean, every week we just turn on the film and like, man, we got another good defense to go play. And looking ahead at our schedule, we're going to have several more as it goes down the line. But there's no doubt it's been a challenge. But I think it's kind of become the norm. That's what we were talking to our guys the other day. It's like, okay, we got another prime time game day. Blackout, maroon out. 2 weeks later, we're going to go do it again. And I remember in the past that used to be a really big deal. It might have been a once a season or once every 2 year type of thing. And now it's just kind of becoming the expectation. And Coach Sweeney does a great job of reminding our guys that, hey, this is the biggest game of the year only because it's our next game. It has nothing to do with any of that other stuff. And so that's the mindset our guys will take this week, getting ready, and hopefully we'll have some good confidence coming off the last road trip at Louisville. Yeah, no question. I mean, I think as a young coach, even over the last 10 or 12 years, just watching college football, I've always respected Coach Foster, and know several people that have worked with him, and everybody just has great things to say about him. I look at a guy like Coach Venables on our staff. There's about 2 or 3 of those guys around the country that are just above everyone else and kind of a league of their own. And Bud Foster's been in that top group for a long time. I think philosophy is very similar. You see a lot of the same stuff. He has, as everyone does, just like we do offensively. Even though we may have the same philosophy and kind of foundation of the offense, we're going to kind of tinker with some things here and there each year, just to kind of stay ahead of the game. And he's done that as well. He's definitely added some wrinkles and a few things that maybe have hurt him in the past. He has the answers to those now. But yeah, there's no doubt we've had some really good battles with those guys in the past. Last year was a great game, going back and forth, and I expect nothing less this game. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and one our players and coaches will be looking forward to. Yeah, I think I got the same question from my wife when I got home Saturday night. So, Travis, he's obviously a special talent, and tell you what, I enjoy. I don't do this very much, but I enjoy going to watch his post-game press conferences afterwards. Just because he's such a honest and humble young man. He's just a perfect fit for our program and what we want to be about here at Clemson. But yeah, there's no doubt. I think going into the season, we knew we had maybe 2 or 3 experienced guys, and then you had Travis, who was a talented guy that really had to grow and develop and had to kind of see how that goes. And now after 4 games, I think Travis has definitely earned his stripes, and I feel like we've got a really good situation at running back. I feel like we've got 4 guys that have the knowledge and ability to be a starter, and there's no doubt that C.J. Fuller's done a good job for us. We've won a lot of games with him in the past. Unfortunately, he put the ball on the ground, and something he'll have to work on. He'll get corrected. Adam Choice is a guy that's been coming back from injury. It was good to see him have a nice touchdown run. But I think Taven, Feaster, and Travis, have both kind of elevated themselves a little bit above the rest. And I think as we go forward, those guys will get more opportunities, and it's going to be fun to watch. But really, there's not one guy in that group that has is best in every area. I think it's each guy has kind of their strengths, and so we're going to need all 4 of those guys as the season goes. It's no different than when Renfro comes out and Trevion Thompson comes in and makes a play. We feel like one of the strengths of this offense this year is our depth. But Travis and Taven, I thought Taven did a really good job in his first start and had some nice runs in there, ran the ball hard. But there's no doubt Travis and Taven have taken that next step and are going to get more opportunities, and will be fun to watch. I think what we like to say is we want to be able to do both, and we say each week that the defense has to choose how they want to lose. They want to lose quickly or a slow death, and we feel like if teams come up and press us, then it'll be a pretty quick scenario, and that's really what happened 2 years ago. They came in here, and I believe we threw for 420 yards and really started connecting in the second half. And now 2 years later, they chose to play us a little different, and I've been really pleased with really the mindset of our guys, the receivers. They understand. This week it could be exactly opposite. These guys are going to come challenge us in man coverage, and we could have to rely a lot more on the pass. And so I think because of the success that we've had, these guys have seen that each week could be different, and some weeks you're going to be counted on more than others. But still, even with running for all those yards, there were several key third down hookups with the quarterbacks and wideouts that if we don't make those, then it could be a whole different ball game. And so, I think the number one thing that helps with that is the culture that Coach Sweeney's developed at Clemson. There's very, very, very little, if any, entitlement, and that's something that makes me really happy to get up and go to work and be around this group, because they truly believe in team success over individual success. And in 2017, that's hard to find, and that's rare. But I also think that's one reason that we've had the level of consistency that we've had. Yeah, that's an area that we need to improve in. We got blown up there twice. One of them was a high throw and kind of threw us into the defender, and then the other one, Ray got knocked back and really should have cut the defender. That's been a good part of who we've been, and that's an area that we want to improve on here as we go forward, and definitely we'll be spending some time here over the next couple weeks working on that. Yeah, I think those guys know. Tony Elliott does a great job in his room, and as a position coach, you're kind of in charge of your room and the culture in your room and all those type of things. And Tony does an excellent job with those backs. And CJ, and Adam, they can see the talent that they have, and that's what everybody that comes to Clemson, they know that. T. Higgins right now is 13-9 man. He's probably one of the number one, if not the best wide receiver in the country last year. So these guys know when they come to Clemson that they're going to be, in a talented room. And each year we're going to go out and continue to sign guys. But I think those guys also know that they have a spot on this team. And it's not it's a week by week deal. And really, whoever's kind of playing the best that week will get opportunities the next week. But it's a long season, and those guys are very valuable, and they know that. And Coach Elliott does a great job in that room with that group, and that group is a very close group as well. They've got really good chemistry. They've helped Travis a lot, trying to learn everything so fast, and it's fun for me to see those guys celebrate with Travis after a couple of those touchdown runs on the sideline. Yeah, I think you see him playing with a lot more confidence. I think we knew coming out of high school what he had the ability to do, but I think for him it was kind of figuring it all out. And like you said, Taven's ran the ball really well, but we've been really pleased with how he's played without the ball in pass protection, which is a huge thing for us and what we do offensively. But you can just tell watching him on the field on game day and then going back watching the video, you can just see his confidence is at a whole new level, and that's allowing him to execute, be where he's supposed to be, and make good decisions. And that's one reason that he went out there with that first group last week. Yeah, I am. And that's like I said, kind of going back to that last question. He's a guy that he's running hard in the fourth quarter, regardless of how many touches he's got. And hey, it's a long year. We're going to be leaning on him a lot as this year goes, and he knows that. But even though the production stat line through 4 games wouldn't show it, he's playing his best ball. He's graded out in the 90s or high 80s each week. So I'm excited for what's to come for him here as we go down the stretch. I mean, maybe for about 10 minutes watching the highlights. I mean, and to be honest, the way these games have gone, you get home late. And as soon as I got home, my daughter Savannah had her second birthday Sunday, so I had to grade my video Saturday night. So as soon as I got home at 9 o'clock, I was grading my video while the highlights were rolling in the living room on the TV. So you don't get caught up in that because it's, as you know, it's a long season, and there's a lot of circumstances in each of those games that you can't really spend too much time. I mean, basically what we know is we're going to have to earn it every week. There's not going to be any year where you're just going to have a bunch of gimmies on the schedule, and I think there's a lot to be said for the ACC, not just us and Florida State and Louisville, but there's a lot of improved teams in our league, and each. I mean, this was a great example this week. Boston College. I mean, their defense, they played very, very well, and we were fortunate to really get it going in the fourth quarter. And so I think our guys know, that they're going to have to come out each week. I can remember whenever I was a young kid on the sidelines of Florida State. My dad was coaching back there in the late 80s and early 90s. I mean, really, there was about 2 games a year. And every other game you went out there, you knew you were going to win. It was just by how much. But I think the parity in college football is probably at an all-time high right now, which is great for the game. And I think that's one reason the ratings and all that. I mean, each week you never know what you're going to get, and that makes it fun. But we know we got a challenging road, but we obviously can't look past Blacksburg at 8 o'clock here Saturday night. We did. We were we always start at 4 o'clock in the staff meeting, and we were in there a little bit early watching, and I believe we turned it off when the Patriots had the ball at the 2-minute warning on about a 3rd and 10. So we felt pretty good that Houston was going to pull it out. About an hour and a half later, when we left the meeting, we looked at our phone and said, well, Tom Brady happened again. But I mean, obviously very pleased and happy for Deshaun, not surprised at all. And that's what all of us that knew Deshaun and watched him for 3 years, we're trying to tell all the pro scouts that, hey, this guy's different, he's special, and would love for him to get that done against the Patriots. But it's only a matter of time. He's going to do great things for Houston. Yeah, no, it's good. That's what I tell people all the time. When your wife can start noticing the guys, and it's a really good thing. She, and we got several guys that are doing well, but Travis is one that's fun. I think one of the best moments was in the locker room after the game. Boston College has a tradition where they bring over the trophy, and McFadden O'Rourke Trophy for the winner of the Boston College and Clemson matchup. We've been doing since 2008. And they also give an MVP. They give a kind of a vintage helmet from back in the day, one of the leather helmets with no face mask. And so Travis was named the MVP and put the helmet on, which was a great picture with his big old smile. And then all the players started yelling speech, which they normally do if somebody gets a game ball, and usually whoever gets it goes and sits down. And he stood up there and gave a speech, and so that was pretty awesome for the team. He said, to be honest, I didn't expect this. Last week I couldn't even catch a kickoff, and this week to be able to get this, he says it's very humbling. So he's got a great attitude and special young man. think he's earned that, and I think he went in his first play against Boston College, which obviously the game was on the line for a long part of the game. He went in around play number 20 this week, and so that's coming from the trust that's been that he's earned through his production, and not really just with the ball. I mean, he's made some outstanding plays with the ball, but we've seen that in practice. There was a couple situations where he did a good job in pass protection, and that's really kind of been that final box that needed to be checked for him to be able to have the trust to be able to go out there early in the big games. But there's no doubt four games in, we feel very confident in where he is, and he's still a young player. I mean, he hasn't made many mistakes yet, but he's going to make mistakes because all of our players make mistakes. So that's just part of it, and that's what we're telling him too. As you get more opportunity, don't feel like you got to be perfect. You're human, even though sometimes your runs don't look human. You are human, and you're going to make mistakes from time to time. But yes, he's definitely reached that point where we feel good about putting him out there early and often. Yes, they definitely had a good time with that in the locker room. Coach Sweeney, as he always does, goes through the kind of the big plays and big moments and highlights. And he hadn't quite gotten to Hearn's run, and the offensive lineman started helping Coach Sweeney remember Hearn's run. And then I think he said something that it might have been the most yards per carry in the game. And yeah, they definitely, anytime a big guy like that can get his hands on the ball, that's a lot of fun for those guys. Yeah, we were in the dark, and I got even more nervous when I heard last week he said how close it was a decision. I mean, I think we felt like after his official visit here, which happened late in January, we kind of felt 60-40 Clemson. But anytime that, you got a young man in out of state, especially where they play great football like Louisiana, we knew it was going to be difficult. Decision going to be really close, and but he told Coach Elliott he thought he was going to come to Clemson. He just had to make sure, and I think he had to kind of check with his family and all that, and listen to him now. That seems like that was the biggest thing. He just wanted to be sure that his family was okay with him going this far, and obviously we're very pleased that he did.